Here at Oldham College, we're extremely proud of our T-level delivery and the growing numbers of young people that want to take up a T-level. And we're also particularly proud of our current cohort. We have 60 learners with a SEND need that are doing a T-level programme. T-levels are a great success for all the learners that have participated so far, and also what they've gone on to do after their T-level. And that's equally applicable for our learners with SEND and our learners without SEND.
At City College Norwich, over 35% of our student population have an inclusion need, so it's really important that we get the approach right from that initial engagement with those learners. And we do that through our taster days and interview process, giving the students and their parents the opportunity to understand what the curriculum is going to look like for them and how it can meet those aspirations that they have. And through those initial assessments, we're then able to link to what support is needed for that individual. And we do that through the graduated approach and our staff toolkit. So each of our staff have regular CPD and availability of this toolkit to support them in working with those inclusion needs and treating the individuals.
So we had a whole college approach to the preparation to deliver T-levels, which included working with employers, with new awarding organisations, all the different support mechanisms that were available. And we had a whole college strategy group where we worked on an action plan of all the things that we were going to do to prepare our delivery, both in terms of the course materials, the resources, pitching it at the right standard, how we're going to advertise the programmes to prospective students, how we'd link in with careers advisors in schools, etc.
I thought the best way of implementing T-levels and introducing that to students was to involve colleagues from across the college in terms of careers advice, to give them that initial bit of information about what the course is, what the course content is, what it means on a practical level. But then, crucially, strategically, it became more about raising confidence levels and aspirations and helping young people recognise that this was a course that could meet their needs, could help them thrive.
Our transition offer starts from as early as Year 10. We attend annual reviews for EHCP students, and our offer is open to those who have got SEND, who may have high anxiety, or a range of additional needs. And we offer initial visits and taster sessions in different faculties and different curriculums so they can make an informed choice. We've found students with SEND and EHCPs have a best start when they start with us. We've always had this cohort of students with SEND and EHCPs who have achieved academically, they've achieved the level 3, but then they've never had the confidence to get into the workplace. The T-levels have filled that gap.
We started talking about T-levels with young people and parents right from day one of engagement. As soon as they step foot through the door, we look at progression opportunities and alleviating some of those concerns that young people had. They were worried about things like, what if I don't like the environment where I'm going to be working? What if I don't like the toilets? What if there's not enough PowerPoints for me to plug my phone charger in? Simple things like those have a big impact on young people with autism or young people that are neurodivergent. So we very quickly had to think about how we could transition those students into the workplace, into the placement, and how we could put those concerns aside.
The impact of assistive technology has just been amazing on our learners. They've really found that they have benefited from having a device with them to help them access their work. We have a range of devices and software, and it is helping our learners with not just their learning but their home revision. Some of our learners are using devices in the workplace to help them read the text, and we've got learners that use devices that help them in exam conditions as well.
We ensure that we have those high aspirations, that's the vital part, and to think about that pathway. And so for us, if it's an employment pathway, vocational academic pathway, T-levels will be absolutely critical for that. Some of our students have barriers from that initial engagement and probably can't think that far ahead. That doesn't stop us thinking about actually their long-term goals from the initial conversations and discussions that we have. We have many students that actually have an inclusion SEND need that actually do very well on the T levels. And what we do is ensure that they've got the stepping stones and pathway to the T level.
So an example of how we have ensured our SEND learners are fully included within our curriculum for T levels is that we have ensured that they're on a 3-year T level journey. So a learner would enrol and participate in a T level foundation year first before starting the full T level. That is to build those essential knowledge, skills and behaviours, build their confidence and build their ability to engage with employers before starting the T level. We feel that's an important learning process for the SEND learners to be able to understand the curriculum, the expectations of a T level, and to develop the wider, softer skills and more transferable skills that the T level encourages the students to have. We have strong relationships with employers. We're in communication with them prior. We would invite an employer on site to have an informal meeting with a SEND learner instead of sending that SEND learner off alone for an interview unaccompanied. So we have that communication beforehand. We also accompany SEND learners to an interview or the first few days of their placement to support that way and to make sure that they feel safe within that placement and happy on that placement. And also during the placement we have monitoring visits from the industry placement coordinators to ensure that the placement is going well, the reasonable adjustments are working, and that if there's any issues or things to discuss that it's done in a good way.
There are many benefits for employers taking young people with SEND on placements through T levels. It gives them an opportunity to understand how to meet the needs of their own neurodivergent staff force, and it also gives them an opportunity to meet customer needs better.
So for anyone thinking about starting a T level, my advice would be go back to your basics when you're thinking about your pathway planning, thinking about actually building that into your programme of study, because that's what we do as experts. We always plan from the initial assessment right through to destination, and T levels is a perfect destination for our students.
We love the T levels. Our students are thriving on this.
If I was to give one top tip to a provider looking to start the T levels, it would be to embrace those learners with an inclusion need and then think about them in terms of your planning right from the start.
So the opportunities that's opened, whether that's access to skilled work, progression onto an apprenticeship, or even going on to higher education, the proportion of our learners that have done those 3 things remains consistent whether the learner has got SEND or not, which is just a great testimony to the strength of the T levels in driving positive progression.